Hello there everyone, and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program. I've recovered from the exhaustion of that Mooner mission. That was quite the epic. And now I'm in a mental state where I can actually look at my research. First of all, a fix from Flowerchild. The science archives work properly now. It was indeed a glitch. He tracked down the issue and made it so that when you go into the science archives, it loads all the science up on the first try. It's fantastic. Interesting. Apparently, that's weird. Huh. No value in discovering that there's either that or I never transmitted the data. Hard to say. Anyways, regardless, I have 927 science to work with, and we are going to get 2 texts today to start. We're going to keep it easy. I want to keep science in reserve. I'd rather not push too far forward because I might discover I need something. First of all, we're going to finish up this tier. It's going to give us some new adapters, larger size decouplers, which will allow me to make more stable vehicles, and yeah. So that'll be nice. So we get this and see what this tech tier is. Oh, radial decouplers. Soon, very soon. Octagonal superstrut. Oh, cool. Okay, this is going to be a valuable tier right here. I knew that this had to that he once said. Flowerchild once said in the process of designing that if a tier is really worthless, the next tier is quite likely really good, because there's your space station core for making hubs, new clampetron, radial decouplers, new stack separators, but I'm not getting that one yet. First thing on my list is life support recycling. Okay, so that's going to allow me to have more long-term. This will probably allow me to design better Mooner missions. Decisions. We are going to start with a new science technique. Today we are going to play with the variable wavelength surface imager and see if we can actually design a ship that can run this thing. And this one's we're just going to do this in orbit of Kerbin. So all we're going to do is we're going to research that. That's enough to buy exactly one more piece. Whoops. Oh no, I already have the solar panels. Okay. What's this? Ooh, Mark II photovoltaic panels. Those will be much better. 54 per hour. How much do these produce? Oh, they produce 54 per hour as well. So what's the difference? Tracking. Oh, yeah. Reduce the weight and fragility, and they fold. And tracking. So they'll do a bit of they'll track the sun. So. Dramatic improvement, but for 1800 science, I do believe they are a little out of my league until I do a lot of work. And I think the honest truth is I mostly will need, there's the next core, I will need what's at this tier first. Pardon my coughing there. Okay, so it's time to have a look at that. So what we're going to do is we're going to design a Kerbin orbiter, and we're going to get it up there, and we're going to test the that new that system. So I will be right back. I'm not going to do this design on camera. I'm going to use the heavy lift portion of the Apollo program and just throw a heavy-duty rig on top. Well, you'll see. You'll see. So I will be right back. Okay, and that should do it. So I slapped a metric ton of batteries on this thing because it has to do its imaging process takes a full hour to accomplish. So I figured, well, solar panels and lots of batteries, because I know this design doesn't allow for an adequate number of solar panels of this style. So I figured we'll see how many of these we can get up and running. Yeah, and then I just slapped the Apollo heavy lift rig underneath here. This is stage 1 and stage 2 from the Apollo. A nice big batch of... just need to pull it up a little higher. So it's definitely going to have enough juice to get it into orbit. I mean, that is not a concern with this particular rocket. So that's... all we need to do is get the staging right. So there's our second stage. Actually, it preserved the staging quite nicely, didn't it? And stage 3. And I mean, this is way more juice than I need, but I'm getting a lot of batteries into orbit here. So the only change I'm making that I just realized I should make is we should put a couple of, what's this? Clampotron Senior. Ooh, a big Clampotron. That's cool. We'll put that there. Just in case, for whatever reason, this thing gets trapped in orbit. Hopefully I can get rid of it. I have no idea. You know what? No. You know, this thing isn't going to get trapped in orbit. I shouldn't be silly about this. Excuse me. All right. So I think that's all I really needed to do here. So, without any further ado, we are going to launch this monster and try and get it into a Kerbin orbit. And I think the surface imaging has to be done in low Kerbin orbit. So it seems to me that for a surface mapping project, a polar orbit is the most sensible thing, because a polar orbit will eventually cover the entire surface of a planet, whereas an equatorial orbit will not. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to do a polar orbit just for realism, if nothing else. I'm sure it's not actually necessary, but why not, right? Launching the monster in 3, 2, 1. Liftoff. I have a sneaking hunch this may be a little overpowered. Just a hunch, because, yeah, that's a lot less juice than it took to get Apollo off the ground. Just don't tip. Just don't tip. Really seriously, just don't tip. Come on. What are you doing? What are you doing? No, wrong. Oh crap, no wonder I've got the wrong... Well, that could suck. Why are we tipping so badly? Well, this is going to fail miserably. I wonder what's wrong. Did I just screw up? I might have just screwed up. Alright, well, kill the engines. And down we go. Weird. Kaboom. That was funny. Alright. Revert to launch. Maybe every once in a while I think the game just kind of decides that it doesn't want to do things. So, launching in, once again, in 3, 2, 1, liftoff. Whoa, what is with my... Whoa, 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 whoa. So something is fundamentally wrong with this. Because why on earth did it suddenly decide to pitch over like that? Alright, we're going to revert to vehicle assembly and reload. Actually, let's just check my center of gravity. I need to make sure something didn't go completely and horribly wrong in the design of this, because that was really wacky. Center of mass. Whoa. Whoa, whoa, whoa. What's wrong here? What the heck? What's that? Center of... Whoa. Well, there's your problem, but why? That should not be happening. Let's see if I can reset that. Oh, let's check the middle stage. Center of mass. Where's my center of lift? Where's the center of lift marker on this stage? Center of thrust. Weird. Something has gone really wacky with this. I might have to restart my game and see if it works any better. Okay, center of lift, come on. There is something completely wrong with this ship. And I can't see what it is because the center of mass is perfectly centered. So I will say give me a minute here and I will reload the game and see if this persists. I'll be right back. Okay, I couldn't explain why that happened. I had to remove the diagonally mounted, the four corner rigs to reset the center of thrust. I guess that must be a bug with the sub-assemblies, would be my assumption. Just because it glitched out when I added it. It was fine on Kerbollo 7, but when I put it on, returned it as a sub-assembly, it seemed to decide that things were all wrong. So that's basically that. So, without any further ado, let's launch a ship that's actually, you know, matches, whose design and physics match real-world physics as opposed to, oh, I think your center of thrust is, you know, somewhere over on the side. So, I'll live and learn. I mean, in all honesty, that's what I get for not checking my bloody center of thrust before launching, so, you know, be that as it may. Launching in 3, 2, 1. There we go. Now we're talking. I hope. Come on. Come on, keep it stable. No, you're tipping like a crazy, crazy, crazy tip. Crazy tip. Why are you doing this to me? Okay, we're stable? Are we stable? Not quite. RCS can't save us now. Weird. Well, okay, this is apparently going to be a bigger challenge than I had anticipated. Because I don't see any reason why this ship should be doing this to me. So, anyways, no sense in watching this thing crash again. I will refine this design a bit, and I'll be right back. Alright, one more try here. Launching in 3, 2, 1. Come on. Come on, SAS, hold it steady. I did put on the right computer controls, right? Inline stabilizer, I think that's the right one. Well, I'm just gonna leave it be for now. Oh, crud. Oh, crap. I took off the communicatrons and forgot to replace them. At least I didn't get all the way to orbit before discovering that. I think it's working okay now. The design seems to be under control, so all we have to do is get our communications rigs back on here. Where'd you go? No, wait, that's utility, not science. Communications are in the science department. And we'll put 2 of you on right there. Oh, and you know what I forgot to do? I forgot to set up the action groups. So 1, toggle antenna. 2, initiate surface imaging. No. Toggle cover on 2, initiate surface imaging on 3. Save. Alright, here we go. Round 6. Or something. I really do know how to design spaceships. It says here in fine print. The narrow end goes towards the space, right? Or something. Okay, we'll just wait until it stops wiggling like that. SAS on. Throttle up. Launching in 3, 2, 1. And then just quickly do an SAS reset there so that it's locked on to where it should be. Slow it down a little bit because it's a very powerful rig. We have 30,000 battery on this thing. Hopefully that is enough to do the job. And hopefully getting this thing into that polar orbit I had planned will not be so bad. It seems almost to want to naturally drift into that polar orbit, doesn't it? Well, so far so good. It's staying pretty stable. So barring any, severe glitches, I think we're going to be under control here. I may cut or accelerate parts of this episode just for my sanity and yours. And so I'll probably see you in orbit. We should be high enough to initiate surface imaging. There we go. So we're doing it. And in the meantime, hopefully we can do that while we're under acceleration. We'll find out here in just a minute. We're just waiting to be at a more optimal time. So it is definitely a low Kerbal orbit thing. The interesting question will be, will it do it faster if I time accelerate, or what? Okay, full throttle, bringing up that periapsis. Good stuff. I'm going to assume it can't do it under, oh, that's not bad, actually. 59 minutes. So, yeah, I mean, that's why I gave it as much juice as I did. So that it would, last a nice long time. We're just trying to circularize this orbit here. And I don't want to waste fuel. It's just practice. This is practice, right? We are practicing good orbital maneuvering and fuel usage. Okay. Also, it's also practice at circularizing an orbit, because, I haven't done enough of that. Okay, it's already 4% done. We're in orbit now, but I kind of want to make it a circular orbit, just for practice. So we'll burn right at the apoapsis this time. We'll also see... Okay, so I can time accelerate this away. So I started with... I had 30,000 juice on here. Actually, how are we doing on solar panel efficiency? Not well. But... where's the sun? There it is. I mean, it's an orbit, so we don't necessarily have to do much with this. Man, it's been a while since we've been up over the poles, though, isn't it? How did I do? Oh, that's a pretty good polar orbit, if you ask me. That's just shy of perfect. And so our energy flow is not... We're currently using way more than we're gaining, but I think we are definitely going to have enough energy to finish this job. In fact, from the looks of it, I mean, okay, these solar panels would be pushing it to get the surface imager to another planet. That's just something I'm going to have to admit. So, the surface imager is definitely a more advanced piece of science. I'm really curious how much science it's going to give me just for imaging Kerbal. I'm going to see what happens when I try and circularize my orbit here a bit. This is just practice. I mean, I have tons of fuel left. So we are 15% done, and this will just be, we'll do this, and then I will cut. I want to see the results of this attempt on camera, and then I will cut, and we'll continue flying around the planet until my science is complete. And then we'll find out how much the transmission is worth. And if I've done this exactly right, I might actually be able to do this in one episode instead of two like I usually do for a single mission. Although with all those errors at the beginning, God's only knows. Oop, I'm just at the apoapsis now. Here we are. So it's bringing up. Perfect. That'll do. That's not perfect, but it's within 1,000 meters. So cool. All right, I will actually. There we go. Look at that. Time acceleration for the win. It's a shame that's as fast as I can go, but it's still not bad. Where'd Kerbin go? There it goes. We're going so fast that it's not rendering properly. That is cool, though. I like this thing. Cool. Well, that's functionally a time lapse, isn't it? I hope this doesn't give anybody vertigo. All right, we're coming down to the end of the line, and we have so much battery left. It's not even funny. 120 science for that, just for Kerbin though. So here comes the big job. Do I have enough battery power to transmit it? So it didn't take all that much to store the data, or to take the data. It took just shy of 1,000 battery electric charge. So, but with the solar panels I've got, of course. So let's start transmitting the data and see how long that takes, and how much power it takes too. Not as much. So this is going to take a while, and I know for a fact that data transmissions can't be time accelerated, so I will see you on the flip side. Okay, so an important little thing to note, don't accidentally switch away from a ship that is transmitting data. It looks like the data just disappears. I think. I can't tell for sure. Oh. I have two sets of communicatrons on here. How hilarious. Or maybe not. It's hard to say. But yeah, it looks like my data may have disappeared. So anyways, I'm going to find out what's going on, and I will be right back. And welcome back. Transmission complete. 120 science added. And it only took, with the glitch, because I won't need more than 10,000 battery on this. So I could take off I'll keep twice as much battery on this. If I get rid of about a third of these batteries, I'll still have enough juice to transmit data to Kerbin and then some, because when this thing's not doing anything, if you watch in just a second, this thing has a net recharge as designed, as long as it's facing towards the sun. So if I play my cards right, I can have this beastie charging for the entire flight to the moon. Yep, there it goes. So if I accelerate time a bit, yeah, see, given enough time, this thing will recharge, and I think in each orbit it will get a net gain. And that's not an issue when you're going to the moon, because your net gain is yeah, so I think with a couple of design tweaks, we can use this as a Mooner imager as well. Because these solar panels will maintain the batteries. I'll need less batteries than I put up here. I'll take off a third of the electrical storage capacity on this thing, retweak the design a bit, move these, get rid of my duplicate. Don't ask me what I was thinking. I completely missed that these were here. They were perfectly concealed. Yeah. So all we have to do now is deorbit the monster. which just means a quick retrograde burn. And then I will go check on poor old Kerbollo 3 and see what it's been up to. Whoa, 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 whoop, 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 whoop. Wrong button. Yeah, so all in all, a very successful mission. Once I figured out how to, you know, lock it on, accelerate. Goodbye, periapsis. We're going down. Like a ton of bricks, because we ain't bringing this thing home. Let's see how quickly we can bring it down. 12 minutes. 11 minutes. I mean, who wants to watch this thing deorbit, really? We got other things we can do. We know this thing's going to hit the ground like a ton of bricks, and that's the important thing in 10 minutes. So we are going to go... Where's Kerbollo 3? Minmus probe. Kerbollo 3, poor old Kerbollo 3. Switch to. You poor guys have been in orbit for so long. So these parachutes were deployed. So we're coming back at a 54. The question is, are we actually coming back at a low enough pass yet that it's going to deorbit? These poor guys. I have no control over this ship. It will do exactly what it sees fit. And hopefully that will be involved when it hits atmosphere actually rotating. Because these parachutes are set to deploy. As soon as it gets to the elevation they were originally set to, they should just pop out. And this thing might actually come back intact. But no, we are whipping past this planet way too fast still. Oh, do I have a little control? I can't tell if I have control or if that's just wind effects and stuff. Alright, no, it's going to be a few more orbits. You know what? I'm tired of these poor guys being stuck in orbit. So I'm going to cut here, and I'll bring you back in a couple of orbits when they're actually possibly going to, you know, get home alive. Or, well, okay, they're dead, but I want to bring their bodies home. So, I'll see you in a second. Hello there, everyone, and welcome back. My instinct is that we are on our final approach because the beast just barely managed to sling itself back into orbit on the last pass. And I think and I really don't want to time accelerate this one because things go horribly, horribly wrong in the atmosphere when you time accelerate below a certain point. So we're going to let nature take its course here and see what happens. But Kerbollo 3 is finally going to come home, I think. Now, just for your information, this has taken me 40 minutes of real time to bleed down the atmosphere, even with time warp on the go. In-game, probably about a week or so, maybe a little less. We were just barely skipping the uppermost segment of atmosphere here. So 50 kilometers is definitely not adequate. It really needs to be below 30 in the 30 to 40 kilometer window to really be an effective method of bleeding off your speed when you're leaving orbit. But yeah, this last one, as I say, we just barely re-breached the atmosphere into orbit on the last one. And I think on this one, we're going to find out if these parachutes are actually going to deploy and whether or not the thing will stay stable enough for re-entry effects to not burn it to a crisp. So, it's definitely been it's a matter of pride to bring these guys, the corpses of these brave Kerbals home. You know, it was a screw up of epic proportions on my part, and it'll be nice to see them back on the ground, even if they're just going into caskets. But bringing them home intact and alive is really something I would like to see happen. And if not, their remains will enrich the atmosphere and the ground below. But either way, this has been an interesting process. The speed at which this thing bled off was so slow. Early on, I was only getting maybe less than half a million, probably about 250,000 meters per orbit. I think it's been about 30 or 40 orbits at this point. So, yeah, that's pretty insane. You know, if this thing shoots back out of the atmosphere again, I may cut this and re-record it. Because that would suck immensely to have to watch this thing go down again. I had a feeling this might be the point of no return, but I'm not positive. As the point of no return is the point where the apoapsis no longer rises fast enough to get out of the atmosphere. Oh yeah, here we go. We're getting down to the point where it's really starting to bleed that speed off. The wobble is a little scary. As long as it stays in the atmosphere, it will deorbit in a reasonable amount of time. The question is, will it... Well, we're still 3 minutes to the periapsis, so that's promising. And that is coming down really fast now. So, hoping for the best. We're under 90. 70 is the critical point where it's never going to leave the atmosphere again. And that periapsis is dropping at a speed. Oh, we've done it. We're good because the time to periapsis is increasing faster than we're approaching the periapsis, which means we're going to the ground. That was my suspicion. What a successful deorbit would look like. The time to periapsis increasing faster than basically time to periapsis increasing means the periapsis is dropping faster than we are, which means we're bleeding off enough speed to re-enter the atmosphere. Yep, here it goes. So that's the apoapsis we're never going to reach now. And so this is the point where we find out if this thing is stable enough to re-enter without burning up. So, such as it is. Okay, yep, we've passed the critical node. Now we start going down really fast. Because the periapsis is dropping way faster than we are. So the faster that drops, the faster we drop, and in an ever-increasing amount of time, or decreasing amount of time, this episode will end. I know it's a boring way to end the episode, but I spotted it when I was flying. It's actually the ship that screwed up my my first attempt at gathering that data. So I figured, okay, it's time for these guys to come home one way or another. Okay, and we're starting to come down to the point where, periapsis is down into the lower atmosphere, and we will land shortly. It's just a question of whether we're going 2,300 meters per second right now. That's really fast. Whether or not the shield is going to be the ablative shield is going to be enough to keep us alive. Oh, and now it's burning. The burn has begun. Well, let's hope for the best. Yeah, this is it. We're about to come into the hot part of the re-entry process. I know in theory coming in at a shallow angle like this is actually one of the better ways to do it, but I've never really had a good feel for that, so I'm really scared of time acceleration though, so we're just going to have to suffer through it. I've seen terrible things happen when you time accelerate in the wrong part of an orbit. Ooh, this might be a water landing if everything goes according to my complete utter absence of plans. So we are now 100 kilometers. Our periapsis is now 100 kilometers into Kerbin, so I don't think there's any way to get this thing back into orbit again. And we're just about to hit the really... Okay, we're not quite just about to hit it, but we're decelerating quickly now. And I think in just a moment, yep, here we go. We're just about to cross the threshold into the burning phase. So let's get into a position where we can watch. And yep, the heat is now going up. I'm actually impressed that we aren't seeing a... Man, at the rate it's going, we might actually get back to the... right all the way across this section of ocean and back to the next continent again. Alright, well... I'll leave RCS... Oh, right, I can't control anything here. There is nothing to control. There we go. Here goes the atmospheric reentry. It looks like it's stable enough that it's not going to burn up. That wobble is well within safe parameters, shall we say. So that's the good news. Really, the only thing I don't know is whether or not these parachutes will deploy. If they are... Whoa! Okay, well that's the end of that. So... Right, they ripped off... Yeah. Okay. Well, that was anticlimactic. We can time accelerate now. And if those parachutes hadn't failed, they would have survived. Well, maybe they'll be able to get something out of the crater that this thing is going to leave. So, that being said, thank you guys very much for watching. The fate of Kerbollo 3 has been determined. And they may not have made it alive, but at least they're on the ground. Alright, next episode, we will take a surface imager to the moon. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.